And we are on. Hello and welcome to Sports Unhinged. I am Mohammed Khamis and I'm joined by Mark and Ujitha. Coach is not with us today, but he'll be there on Saturday to give his expert picks in Pick 6. Oh man, guys, we're a quarter of the season in. Well, almost a quarter before the NFL decided to make a prime number, the number of games, 17.
Well caught.
Where are you going with this?
Matt's
what can you do with 17? What can you do with 17, right? Like you can't say we're halfway through the season. You can't say we're a quarter of the way of the season.
In 3 years' time, it'll be 18. Then we can all.
It'll be 18. Yeah. But I think the theme so far has been humble pie for a lot of our guesses, a lot of our picks, a lot of our teams. And yeah, we've been dished a little bit of humble pie when we talk about Arizona beating the Rams. We unanimously picked the Rams last week. My Carolina Panthers had a bit of a collapse against the Dallas Cowboys in the third quarter. You're not one to talk, Mr. Eagles. You haven't had a walk in the park either this year. So I think instead of talking about last week's games and next week's games, since we're a quarter of the way in, let's take a kind of a pause and go division by division and see what we think about each division and where the teams are heading. So since you started with that, really, Mr. Eagle guy, let's start with the NFC East. We've got Dallas are at 3-1, looking scary. Washington 2-2. Philadelphia are 1-3. New York Giants not even worth talking about. How scary are the Dallas Cowboys? Let me ask you that first.
Well, I'm gonna have to take a leave after this. Go outside, turn 3 times, and spit. Because honestly, it looks like Dallas could finally get this ring after 25. Yes, I went there.
Dude.
I went there.
That coming from a Philadelphia Eagles fan. You're saying that Dallas can actually go to the Super Bowl.
That must hurt.
Listen, if you take the NFC, Dallas it's the most complete team right now. Yeah, I mean, the first week was nothing to go by, but progressively over the last 3 weeks, they've developed, Dan Quinn has made that defense. I mean, it's crazy what they're doing. They got Micah Parsons, the pick from this. To me, he looks like the best draft pick of the year so far.
He's defensive rookie of the year by far.
Right? And he's playing linebacker. He's coming off the edge as well. I mean, he pressured your quarterback 4 or 5 times. I think there was a couple of sacks in there as well. And then you got the Diggs brother. They're doing crazy stuff as well. I mean, can you imagine what went on in that
He's leading
household?
the NFL with interceptions.
Yeah. So, I mean, everything going well on the defense. And then you got Dak Prescott. And he's suddenly coming out and playing the best damn football of his life all of a sudden. Yeah. And then when you thought...
You know what hurt the most? Watching the Carolina game last week. Because Ezekiel Elliott, we haven't really seen him do much. Since the beginning of the season, he was still getting warmed up,
and he chose
him
Carolina.
Do this move.
He chose Carolina.
Against Carolina to do this. Zeke started eating against Carolina, especially in the third quarter.
The problem is now, okay, you have to face him once, and you've done it, but we got to face Elliott, and now this dual threat of Pollard as well. This as a combo is just gashing those D lines, and the run game is crazy. So taking all that into account, and I think more than the offense, the defense really came through. And they caught you guys out, to be honest. Right. You guys were playing single high safeties, pass coverage mainly, hoping that the front four will get the job done. No, but you got gashed all over.
But Dallas made a massive adjustment at half time, and it was the third quarter when all the damage was done.
Yeah,
Carolina were going toe with them.
But Carolina have had this going on for a while, though, losing it in the third quarter. So I think before last week, Sam Darnold's QBR was almost halved in the second half of each game. They start off great. But we'll talk about that when we get to the NFC South. Now,
that's the thing with Dallas, because they're actually adjusting. So they're really working hard as a complete unit. And that's why I'm putting it out there, at least NFC-wise. I can't see a better complete unit. Maybe the Rams, yeah, but not Green Bay, because Green Bay is running off Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
But this is a whole team effort here. If
you look at Dallas's next 3 games, they're home to the Giants, then they go to New England, and then to Minnesota. I mean, it's
they're all winnable.
Could go through. They could win all 3.
Listen, by week they're going to be 6-2. I mean, I looked at their schedule. They're going to be 6-2. Probably end the season at 12-5. It's a pretty decent schedule for them.
The thing that I just want to say about the Dallas defense is the fact that they just dealt Smith, the linebacker, to Green Bay. They're going to pay his salary. Dallas paying his salary. They're so strong on linebackers that they just wanted him off.
They don't need him.
They need the space.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't go as far as to say that Dallas will get to the Super Bowl, because Dallas eventually will become Dallas. They'll get it. They'll get in their own way. And I question whether them dealing Jalen Smith away while he was a defensive captain, leading the huddle before the game and, getting people riled up, is that going to cause a problem in the locker room? Is that going to start,
I hope so.
Causing Dallas, the typical Dallas Cowboys thing is always a non-football
issue.
Is it
arrogant? Right? Is it overconfidence? What is it?
I hope so.
Is it really well judged? We're going to find out.
I mean,
what happens? I'm saying, what happens if they get a couple of injuries in linebacker?
Yeah,
and then what?
That's right. I mean, my hope was that the Eagles would have gone all out to get Jalen Smith, actually, because that is our problem area in the linebacking area. So, but yeah, good on Green Bay, and Mark has to face it.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Let's talk a little bit about Philly. You guys, is there a chance for a wild card?
I'll get to Philly at the end of this NFC. So let me run through the others real quick.
All right, real quick. We've got 7 other divisions to go.
Washington. I mean, we predicted that Washington might win this division, but they're 2-2, and looking at their schedule, they could be about 3-5 by the week 9 comes around. And we talked about Washington before as well. Their defense has not gelled together like we expected to. Jack Del Rio, I mean, they've got to do some different alignment schemes there, which they're not doing. They're just vanilla schemes right now. They're running. It's not working out. So yeah, I expect them to be 3-5 somewhere around there. But Taylor Heineke is he's all right. He's doing a pretty okay job coming in there. Yeah, and who knows? Let's see how the season sticks.
I think Sunday's big for them playing the Saints. Yes, both teams really are struggling.
Right.
Yep.
I'm not going to say that the loser falls off a cliff or anything silly, but I think it's a big loss for whichever team takes it.
Right. Yeah. And considering that Washington have KC and Green Bay afterwards, and New Orleans have
Denver, Seattle,
New Orleans have Seattle and Tampa Bay after this game. So it's a really tough schedule. You could, if you lose this game, you could go 0-3 in the next 3 weeks.
Well, I mean, you have to fix the defense. They've got the people. People. Chase Young. We haven't heard much of Chase Young at all, and he was supposed to be really big there. But
and a surprisingly good quarterback on offense who's getting the job done. He's managing the game well.
And that's sad because I mean, they could have had a good year. The Giants, as you said, I mean,
sad. You really meant that.
Yeah, I'm the guy who's saying Dallas
rivals are not doing well. Oh,
yeah, Dallas going to the Super Bowl. Poor division rivals not doing well.
Are you building the excuses in for? Are you building the excuses in for
softening the blow up in here?
Yeah. What's to say about the Giants? What can you say about the Giants?
Well, I mean, Daniel Jones isn't looking all bad. That's all I can say. And Saquon Barkley, is it Saquon? Did I say it right?
Saquon.
Saquon, yeah. Saquon Barkley had a really good reception, in fact, the other day with New Orleans when he beat Marshawn Lattimore. Which was incredible. So we could see a resurgence of Barkley. He's got Kenny Golladay, he's doing all right. So the defense isn't great, but they have a very tough schedule. So I see them around something like 2-6 after week 8.
Yeah.
They've got Dallas, the Rams, Carolina, KC, all coming up in the next 4 weeks.
Right.
Philadelphia, man. I mean, what can I say? the KC game, as I told you guys last week, was the game we needed. And we were going to lose that game. Yeah, I knew that from the start. But we had the best, I mean, at least Jalen Hurts in the offense had the best game of the season on offense.
Yeah,
right? And
of their season, yeah.
Of the Philadelphia season, 387 yards. I mean, they played their heart out. Jalen did his things, and they did everything that they could do on the offense. But unfortunately, this defense has regressed. The defense, which was supposed to be the best part of the team, has regressed. Penalties are killing the team. I think they're the highest in the league at the moment, something like 44 penalties, 100 plus yards. So, and then these penalties, they're actually taking away points. San Francisco game, there's 13 points left on the field. KC, 12 points left on the field. And potentially game-winning points are being left on the field. So that's, I mean, these minor mistakes, they make it big. They have to fix them. They got to do some on defense. The O-line, even without 4 starters, did a good job the other day. Jason Kelce is the only starter from week 1 right now in the offensive line.
Wow.
But still, they were fine, and they let Jalen do whatever he could. So the offense is still okay. He's got 2 new guys in the out, Rager and Smith, and they're doing their thing. The run game isn't as crazy as it should be. But the defense really, I mean, if for the next 4 weeks we got Carolina, Tampa Bay all coming through, they got to make some changes in defense.
Well, you're coming over to Carolina. How is that looking for you?
With the way the offense played, I think we could take your Carolina's defense. I don't know how this game will go, and I'm not going to predict it. Yeah, because I've had too much pie, baby.
Too much pie.
Again, I'm worried about the defense. They got to make some changes. They got to play schematically. They haven't, even if the schematics were good, they don't have the players to pull off that schematic. So we'll see how it goes.
You lose to us. You go to you're home to Tampa Bay, and then you go to
then we got the Raiders,
Vegas.
and then we calm down in Detroit. So I'm taking 3 and 5 going into week 9. Probably finish at 8 and 9, which is better than what I predicted to start. So it's a wait and see for me, babe.
It's a wait and see. All right, Mark, let's move over to the NFC North. Your coach finally decided, your head coach, to name Justin Fields as the starter. You're sitting at 2-2. You're going to the Raiders next week. How does it look in the NFC North right now?
I think Green Bay always, for the last 20 years, that they've set the pace. And I do think Chicago are the nearest rivals. I'm not sold at all on the Vikings.
No.
There just seems to be something lacking there. And Detroit seem to be doing Detroit things. So I do think it's between the Bears and the Packers. Packers come to Chicago in week 6, so that should be interesting. The interesting thing, I just want to touch on Matt Nagy for a moment after last week's rant. On Monday, he had a press conference saying Andy Dalton is our starter when he's fit.
When he's healthy, yes, I saw that.
Wow.
And then on Wednesday, he came out and said Justin Fields is our starter as of now. So are you telling me he had a change of heart in 2 days, or did someone get to him and say, what do you think you're doing?
Yeah, enough.
Exactly.
Did he not see you on the podcast?
I think
maybe,
but not until Monday night after his press conference.
See, that's the problem. We got to change these timings.
That's on him.
These YouTube clips take a while to get there, to reach the intended
That's on Muhammad.
audience.
It's not on Nagy. It's on Muhammad.
It's just, so I think more than one person got to him and made him see sense. Because when Justin Fields is starting, if the Bears lose a game because of him or whatever, it's okay, because we know he's got to grow. And he gets a free pass for all of this season, I think, as far as most sensible Bears fans are concerned.
Right.
Last week, he did some throws that we haven't seen in Chicago. 60, 70-yard shots and stuff. We haven't seen that since Cutler. So that was nice to see after about 10 years of waiting, with mediocre quarterback play. So
if he starts for the rest of the season,
yeah,
do you get your first 4,000-yard quarterback in the history of the Bears.
No, not this year. I'm not bothered about that. That's, again, I say it every week. I'm not really into these stats.
Semantics.
But,
But
I think next year, because A, 17 games, and B, he's going to be a year into the system. So this year, I'm not worried about as far as he's concerned. He can make mistakes, and he gets a pass from all of us. All of us. The others don't. They're all seasoned pros. They need to do their stuff. The great thing is the Bears are leading the NFL in sacks at the moment. So it shows the defense is really stepping up.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Carolina's second.
Right.
15 and 14 respectively after 4 games. So, almost 4 sacks a game, I think is pretty good going for any defense. Right. If they can keep that pressure up, particularly this week in Las Vegas, Derek Carr, we saw on Monday night that he doesn't like pressure. And the Chargers got to him and they were kind of ribbing him. And after the game, he called out Joey Bosa a little bit and all sorts of stuff. So, I'm really looking forward to this game on Sunday afternoon. I think it's going to be a good game, but I do think the Bears can win. One of our biggest podcast fans, a lady called Donna, she's a big Raiders fan, so she and I are going to be ribbing each other between now and then, and certainly afterwards about this. So she's a big Raiders fan. She knows her stuff as well, so good for her. So I think the North between Bears and Packers, not going to call it now.
But do you feel comfortable with your secondary? Because Derek Carr right now is leading the NFL in passing yards with 1,399. I mean, he's actually been really, really accurate in his throwing. He's been carrying that offense to a certain extent as well. So are you comfortable with the secondary being able to cancel out those receivers?
Yeah. Look, it's not going to happen all 50 plays or whatever they're going to get in the game.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to spend a bit of time on his back. I think.
The Bears pass rush will make sure their secondary is all right.
Robert Khalil Mack are really playing lights out. And
Khalil Mack will be living in his backyard.
I think so. Yeah.
But how do you feel about Montgomery being out, though? Your run game's going to suffer.
Big loss. Yeah.
And big loss for my fantasy team as well.
Even the other guy, Williams, or I think his name is Williams. He's also suffering an injury. So
we're going to be short of money back. Yeah, but you still have to play the run. There was, you've got to play the run. You have to. Because if you're just going to be a passing team, you're going to be so easy to puff and read.
I mean, it leaves fields with less options. So
no, I disagree with that slightly. I think it leaves him with worse players at the position, but he's still got the same options. They're just not going to take it as far. Also, Fields can run himself. So if the O-line is doing his work, doing their work, I think he's going to be able to move the chains on behalf of the offense. So look. Montgomery's a big loss, absolutely, but it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
He's going to be well and fit by the time the serious part of the season comes around.
Excellent. So you're still going to stick with Chicago taking them off, which is something you said a while ago. It's written down.
Well, they're 2-2. They're 1 game behind Green Bay, so there's no reason to lose hope right now.
And I think we can win in Vegas, and there's a good possibility we can show up well against Green Bay in 2 weeks' time.
I think that will be the game that will set the tone. If you guys manage to beat Green Bay, that's almost worth 2 wins because it's a division game, right?
Yeah. And we need it. We need to beat Green Bay.
Let me move to the NFC South now. Switch gears to the NFC South. Before I talk about my Carolina Panthers, watching the Tampa Bay against New England game last week, I thought I was very silly picking New England to win that game, and it was just a field goal away from it happening, a doink away from it happening, right? Watching that game, yes, Tampa Bay won, but I'm ready to bring the alarms, wave the red flags on Tampa Bay in both offense and defense, to be honest. This team, as constructed right now, is not going to be a contender for the Super Bowl. Yes, they have Tom Brady, and you can never count him out. But Tom Brady, throughout his career, has averaged about 35 pass attempts per game. He's in the 40s right now. So 40, 45, something like that. They're just asking way too much of Tom Brady at this moment on offense. They're not getting enough of the running game going, and their defense is one of the most overrated. Bill Belichick, as predicted, I gave him a lot of credit that he'll figure Tom Brady out, and he'll make it very difficult. And he managed to achieve that. So we're both tied, Tampa Bay and Carolina 3-1 in the division. I actually, for the first time, feel that we could do something here, and we could probably win that division as Carolina. Now, I'm not gonna, lock it in. It's still too early in the season, but I didn't think that this position, 4 games into the season, that I'll be that optimistic about my Carolina Panthers. Because yes, we spoke about how they broke down against the Dallas Cowboys in the third quarter. That's something that needs to be fixed. Those halftime adjustments have to be made. And that's on Matt Rule to make sure that he puts it in place. But I'm very happy with Scott Fitterer, our general manager, the front office. They are sending the message to these players that we want to win right now. The signing of Stephon Gilmore for a 6th-round pick just a couple of days ago shows that they're ready. You guys know I'm a risk manager by profession, so I like it when I see that mitigation plans are put in place, and these guys have their mitigation plans. There's injuries, they know what to do. McCaffrey's gone. They're adjusting the play calling to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold right now is leading the NFL in rushing touchdowns with 5 rushing touchdowns. He's leading the NFL over any other running back.
Which is great when you have Lamar Jackson in the league as well.
It's insane,
People
right?
Like that, yeah. Shovel pass.
Unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
But Sam Darnold is a running threat. He was a running threat in college. In the Jets, a lot of the times he had to scramble because he simply didn't have an O-line and he was running for his life. But now the play calling is being tailored to him, where defenses have to account for him. So imagine if McCaffrey comes back and you start running those, option reads and those runs. It would be a very difficult offense to
What's
to
the
get
news
in the
on
way.
McCaffrey? What is the news on McCaffrey?
See, with hamstring injuries, it's week to week. You don't know. They haven't put him on IR.
No.
But these things could be very serious and they could go away very quickly. So I don't know. I think he'll be out for maybe 2-3 more weeks. I don't know. I mean, it's a bit difficult. Now, I've been talking a lot about the running game of Sam Darnold, but his passing game has also been fantastic. I mean, DJ Moore right now is 4th in the NFL in received yards, 398, I think. Sam Darnold's passer rating is 95.4, which is right now the highest passer rating for any Carolina quarterback since Cam Newton's MVP season in 2015. So we finally have that, and our defense is good. They need to make adjustments. They were exposed a little bit against the run with the Cowboys, so those adjustments need to be made, but we have the personnel. It's a young core. I'm very optimistic about the Carolina Panthers. So Philadelphia at home, no problem this week. The week after, we've got Minnesota at home, so we've got 2 games in a row at home, and then we get the Giants. So that's a pretty good schedule. I think maybe if we get through Philadelphia, I feel comfortable going forward, maybe topping the division by week 6, week 7.
Can't wait for Sunday.
Yeah. The only thing I would caution you about with Tampa, they were slow last year to start. They weren't fantastic.
Yeah.
Then they went on a 8 or 9 game winning run. So that was cool for them. I do think that the game on Sunday evening in New England was such an emotional game.
You got to take that into account. Yeah,
I really, really do. And I don't think it was normal under any circumstances at all, So what will be interesting is see how they get on this weekend.
Right.
But just staying with this Tampa game, it was emotional, but Bill Belichick took that middle field of Tom Brady. He knew he didn't have Gronk, and he just took it away. He played nickel and dime defense, 5-7-6 D-backs, and he took that where he's really good at. He took it away from him. 33%, I think he was off target. And he missed throws. He was overthrown. So I think Bill out-schemed him in defense, plus the emotionality of the whole game as well.
And he might have provided the blueprint for other teams to plan against Tom Brady as well.
Exactly. And so, yeah, it's not, I mean, yeah, Tampa did have some issues, but I think Bill Belichick out-schemed him on defense.
Right.
And not for the rain. I think the only time the Tampa Bay really played good defense was that last drive when they kept Nick Folk at 56 yards, because I think he's gone 19 of 19, something like that, with the longest at 51. Right. But other than that, he was out-schemed.
Yeah.
Out-scheme Tom Brady, you'll get it done.
Okay, now
easy.
Let's see.
You've seen him for 20 years. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've got a lot of tape, right? We've got a lot of tape.
Yeah.
All right. Now the NFC West, we've kind of covered that division really, really kind of intensively in the last few weeks, even in the Pick Six segment. So I'm not going to go over all of the teams right now, but we have to talk about Arizona. I mean, we've talked about every other team. We've blown the trumpet for the Rams, San Francisco. We covered them when they played against Philly, Seattle, where they've always got, Russell Wilson, who has the highest passer rating in the NFL right now, so you can never count them out. But Arizona, 4-0, the only undefeated team, Kyler Murray. This team, if you're talking about Super Bowl bound, I would say forget about the Dallas Cowboys. Arizona is the team that you probably need to look at. They've got the quarterback, they've got the offense. Their defense is unbelievable with Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt and those guys making it really difficult for every opposition. Everything is clicking with that team. I don't think I've seen them struggle once.
No. And in the Rams game, again, it was schematically. They kept Cooper Kupp out of the game, which was Stafford's main guy out there.
I thought it was a brilliantly called game by Arizona. Really.
And then the thing with Cliff Kingsbury, right? This guy was on the list of coaches to be fired before the season started.
Yeah,
right.
And you're not going to see him on any list. He's done a great job out there. And Kyler Murray is MVP level stuff that he's doing out there.
Who's
30 points per game.
Division after 8 games.
Say again?
Who's going to be leading the West after 8 games?
Oh, Arizona.
But Arizona have the 49ers, they've got Cleveland, and then they got Houston. So they've got a couple of tough games here. They've just gone through the Rams. The only question remains is, will they run out of steam because of the difficulty of the games that they're going through? I mean, in terms of schedule difficulty, that's as hard as you can get. The Rams, 49ers, Cleveland.
There was one change in the way Kyler Murray played this Sunday. I don't know if you guys saw the game or not, but he wasn't always scrambling. It was some constructed drives, 12, 15 play drives, these things. So I think they're adjusting to the Murray situation as well. Not let this guy just take the entire workload, make some runs, short drives, keep that defense on the field longer. I think they're adjusting, and that's the good part about Arizona.
I think they're going so well. Surprisingly well. Really, face it.
That division
thought the Rams were going to sweep it, but they're not going to. So.
No, they're not, and it's a round robin right now, right? They're still playing division games next week as well. So they've got Arizona against the 49ers, and then the Rams against Seattle as well. All right, let's switch over to the AFC. We've got the AFC East. I think
Buffalo's to lose, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's only one team worth talking about here, which is Buffalo. They had a bit of a rough start at the beginning of the season, but they came back. They're 3-1. They're at Kansas next week. Then they've got Tennessee and Miami, so pretty easy schedule after KC. Still, our unanimous Super Bowl pick. Are you guys willing to?
No, I'm not
make any changes in the AFC just yet.
No, come on. The way Buffalo again, just like Dallas, this is a complete team operation, man. It's not just Josh Allen as much as he's doing. It's a complete defense. I mean, everything.
Mitch Trubisky.
2 shutout games in the week.
Mitch Trubisky.
That's their. It's the key. That's their key. Yeah. But I mean, watch for New England making a last-ditch effort. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs somehow. I have this feeling.
I think
they've got the defense to do it.
They're going to miss by a game.
Yeah,
might, but that's how close they're going to get. It's a top 5 defensive unit they've got there. It's a top
The
5
future,
defense.
the future is bright with Mac Jones. I think he's proven that he's playing way beyond his years right now.
Absolutely.
Well,
Now,
you know,
I mean, they need protection on the line. If they can get that protection on, keep that protection on him, New England's going to come somewhere. Yeah.
Miami are expecting Tua to be back next week. Is that going to change things?
Are they?
Well,
It might. They still got a good defense.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good defense, even though they got shut out. But yeah, Tua could make a change, I think.
I just think that they could be a little bit disruptive, that they're going to get a few wins that are going to actually mess it up for other better teams.
You know, they've got Jacksonville and Atlanta after they play Tampa Bay next week. So, I mean, that's ready.
They're winnable.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going out of it. By mid-season, they could be 4-4, 5-3, who knows?
Yeah, something like that.
Could be.
Okay.
It's the NFL, mate.
Crazy, you never know.
Isn't it?
All right, the NFC, the AFC North.
So we're just gonna skip past the Jets. We're just not even gonna talk about them.
Just you know, no. We've got a full 1 hour feature just talking about the Jets coming right up after this episode.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's good.
and it will be just you, Ujitha, talking about them. You know, this is we'll yield the time to you to.
The Jets is my thing. I mean, look at it, Jets. Yeah, all in. Jets.
I noticed.
All in. Now, the reason why I want to move past the AFC East so quickly is because the AFC North right now is one of the most exciting divisions in football. You've got Cincinnati, you've got Baltimore and Cleveland all at 3-1. Pittsburgh are completely out of it. Before we get to the winning teams, one question about Pittsburgh. Is it time for Tomlin to sit Big Ben Roethlisberger? Is it
absolutely
that moment
Nothing
where
to be gained by playing him? Nothing.
absolutely time. Absolutely time.
But you know, Dwayne Haskins or Rudolph, are they going to yield you a better result, or is it just kind of like a mercy call just for the health of Big Ben right now?
I think that we're going to see Ben having a knee injury in the next week or
I think there is a hip injury situation already.
Exactly, but is it?
Look like,
But is it?
yeah,
That's the thing.
But guys, let me play devil's
It's a
advocate
hip
here, because you guys
injury.
are going the Ben McAdoo kind of way, which is, you know, sit down Manning and you know, forget about that Hall of Fame career. Big Ben is still a Hall of Fame, first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, right? It's only been 4 games. They've struggled.
He struggled. He struggled.
But does he deserve a chance?
There is
chance?
no protection issue. You know,
Right.
it's not like the O-line is terrible and Ben's getting hit. There's nothing like that. He's just not moving. He just can't do it.
The O-line has been terrible. No, you got to give some accountability
No,
to that O-line
it's not
as well.
it's not been that terrible that, you know, your quarterback is, even if it's half bad, your quarterback is good enough to scramble out, extend plays. This is the new NFL with the new quarterback style, and he's not fitting in. He's not sync with his receivers even. So, you know, it's on him. It's on Big Ben.
So you guys are going full McAdoo. Never go full McAdoo, guys.
I'm just saying, over the next couple of weeks, he's going to have a mysterious injury and he's going to sit a few games. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that would be a good excuse to sit him down. All right.
He might wake up with a horse head. Never know.
You've done that.
It's the end. Yeah, all the time. It's what I do.
All right, let's talk about some of the winning teams here. You've got Baltimore, Cleveland. Everybody thought that these guys will be head-to-head in the division, but we've got a dark horse now with Joe Burrows in Cincinnati doing some really great things. Yes, they won against Jacksonville in Thursday Night Football last week and got Urban Meyer in a lot of trouble after that. We'll talk about that in a bit.
It was Cincinnati who got Urban Meyer.
Yeah. He decided to stay there. They kept him there.
Bengals, the damn Bengals, I knew it.
They kidnapped his grandchildren and he had to stay there. And all of a sudden he was out there in the bar and, you know, things happen. Anyways.
I mean, that's what you're doing. You know, what are you going to do, right?
Is Cincinnati the dark horse? Could they actually...
No, they're a sport. They're the Miami of that division. They're going to spoil it for others.
They're going to spoil it for others.
They're going to
win it themselves.
Either
there's not going to
won't get to the playoffs because of Cincinnati. That kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, that's a tough division already. I mean,
Because Pittsburgh will win 1 or 2 in the division, maybe, probably.
At this point, with all 3 teams, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cleveland at 3-1, if you had to put your money on one team to win this division,
Cleveland,
you're still with Cleveland. I think
they get stronger. Yeah, I said at the very first preseason show that I thought Lamar Jackson would be the star of the show in Baltimore, and I think he's going to be. But there's so much on his shoulders that I'm not sure he can do that for 17 games. I've got to.
Myles Garrett as well has been leading the NFL right now in sacks. With 6 sacks. He's unbelievable.
I mean, the defense is crazy, but
OBJ
I don't know if Baker Mayfield can take Cleveland to the playoffs.
Yeah. Myles Garrett also got very upset because he went sleeveless for one game and immediately got a random drug test afterwards, so he wasn't too happy about that. You're going to be sacking people.
I like Cleveland a lot. I think they could win a lot of decent.
Well, if Mayfield clicks with OBJ, maybe. But right now there's no cohesion there. I don't know. Can the defense do it?
All right, just a couple of minutes on the AFC South. That's a mess of a division. You've got Tennessee leading at 2-2, Jacksonville at 0-4. I mean, it's not worth really going through these teams one by one, but just a quick question on Jacksonville, because they have a once-in-a-generation talent in Trevor Lawrence. They're supposed to have, gotten one of the best, most decorated college coaches of all time in Urban Meyer. Well, maybe not of all time, but he's one of the greats for sure. Should they fire him after this mishap? Jokes aside,
he should resign. I don't think he should be fired. I think he should resign.
Well, it's not only this. I mean, this is one of many things that happen.
Yeah. Right. I think his draft strategy after Trevor Lawrence wasn't great. The trades haven't been great. The play calling hasn't been great. I mean, there's
Tebow tight end hasn't been great.
Yeah, Tebow, bringing on Tebow as a distraction, that wasn't great either, for sure. So yeah, Tennessee, I mean, it's theirs to lose, the way that I see it. They've underperformed. They've lost to the Jets. The amount of money that Vegas made last week with that Jets upset, it's unbelievable.
Our good friend coach, who's not with us tonight, but he did say pre-season he felt Tennessee were good for the playoffs.
Right.
I think they're going to win.
No. They were his Super Bowl pick.
Super Bowl.
No, Super Bowl.
Yeah. So, he sees something in them. We all respect his judgment. We don't see it at the moment, and maybe that's going to start coming through in week 5. I don't know, but I think it's Tennessee's division. I can't see anybody else getting it.
You're not going to go to the Super Bowl getting sacked 6 times in a game. Yeah. This is the second time this season, 6, and some of them at third down situations.
Or losing to the Jets.
Yeah.
And they go to Jacksonville next week. So, yeah. You don't
and Tannehill is no Lamar Jackson. He's not going to carry the team to a win.
No, but who's going to win the division if Tennessee in that?
I mean, this is a tough one.
Houston and Indy are at 1-3. I mean, I don't know. Whoever
Anyone's
it is.
Guess, to be honest. Not with Davis Mills. Houston's going nowhere with Davis Mills. Davis Mills, sorry.
It's the new NFC East from last year, isn't it? That division. Let's be honest. A losing record.
This is the new basement. They built a basement under the basement and called it the NFC South.
The AFC South, yeah. All right, let's wrap up with the AFC West here. Okay, KC surprisingly are the bottom of that division. Every other team is 3-1. The Chargers look for real with Herbert, Justin Herbert. The Raiders have done okay. Denver, obviously, easy schedule, exposed last week against Baltimore. But Kansas, what is going on with Kansas City? Like I said, Tampa Bay, as constructed, cannot reach the Super Bowl. I will stick with that, and I will say the exact same thing about Kansas.
I agree.
Alarm bells.
Yeah.
It's the defense. They haven't got one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a terrible situation when you have someone like Patrick Mahomes on the offensive side, and you have a defense that look what Philly did against them. I mean,
30 points.
30 points given away. So that's a really tough one. Listen, so here's a quick story, right? Once upon a time there was a man, who took his team a few years ago to 15-1 season into the playoffs. We all know who that man is. Say it with me.
Camilla Newton.
Mark knows him well. Mark knows him well. Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. I thought you were talking about Cam Newton, 15-1.
Nah,
Yeah.
come on. You know him well.
I will not say 12's name on this podcast. Not
until next week.
Not until next week. Next week we will.
Yeah. So Aaron Rodgers takes Green Bay. I think it was the year after their Super Bowl, 15-1 season with the worst defense of the league that year, 32nd. And in every category, they were 29, 20, whatever it was, yards per game. They went all the way to the playoffs. He took them there. But guess what? They lost the division game.
Yeah.
So is it going to be the same for KC? Is Patrick Mahomes going to do all this hard work? Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, get them to the playoffs, and okay, they'll get a bye in the playoffs probably.
Will they? Are they going to win their division? Are they going to be one of the?
I don't see it. I actually think that they're in trouble because
So do I.
they're 2-2 despite Patrick Mahomes being 5th overall in the NFL in passing yards. He's 2nd in passer ratings. You've got Tyreek Hill, who's 2nd in the NFL in receiving yards. They're doing the same
but
great
32nd in
on
defense.
offense. Yeah, 32nd on defense.
Yeah,
That's the issue.
So you're probably right. They won't get a bye.
They might.
Chargers going to probably. Looking at the schedule, Chargers have a pretty easy schedule going through. So yeah,
and you were talking about Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers that year had a very bad Chicago team, Minnesota and Detroit team. These guys in their division right now, you've got the Chargers, you've got the Raiders, you've got Denver.
No, the point I was trying to make is not that. The point I was trying to make is he can take them all the way to the playoffs. But when you reach the playoffs, you're going to have to bring, you're going to pony up and bring all your barrels, right? You can't just come with Tyreek Hill and Mahomes there. What is the point? You're going to lose division game and you're out. So that's where the KC's at. The Chargers, Brandon Staley, this guy, he's very unassuming kind of HC, but he's doing tremendous job out there in defense. He got that Dervin James guy. He's all over the place.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Herbert's got Austin Eckler. That guy's the most versatile running back now in the league as well. Plus the easy schedule. They're looking at 6-2 going into week 9, probably in at 14-3.
No,
you're right.
They've got Cleveland. They've got Baltimore. So it's not all easy.
Look, the way they're playing right now with this cohesion and again a complete team like Dallas is,
right.
They're gonna win this division. Denver was kind of exposed. They played bottom of the barrel teams to start the season, and then they come up with a really good team. Good defense still. Von Miller is looking pretty good. So there's a chance that 3 teams go to the playoffs in this division still. There is a chance.
Let's see. All right, guys. Well, we went through all of the
I think we mentioned every team.
Every single team. We managed to do that in about 40
And if we miss your team, call Mohammed on 050.
The New York Jets special coming right after this. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys in the Saturday segment. And
all right,
see you next week.
Okay, take care.